In June of 1955, a dying man published one essay in Fortune magazine. In it, he predicted that computers would reshape how nations think. He predicted that humans would gain the power to control the climate, and that this power would be dangerous enough to merge the fate of every country on Earth. He predicted that technology was accelerating so fast, it would eventually outrun our ability to understand it. He wasn't a science fiction writer. He wasn't a fortune teller. He was one of the most important scientists of the 20th century. And today, almost nobody outside of academia knows his name. This is the story of John Von Neumann, and the eerie accuracy of his final warning to the world. John Von Neumann was born in Budapest in 1903. By age 6, he could divide two 8-digit numbers in his head. By 19, he'd published his first major math paper. By his mid-20s, he'd helped lay the mathematical foundation for quantum mechanics. Then his career just kept going. He helped design the architecture that every modern computer still uses today, literally called the Von Neumann architecture. He invented game theory, the math behind strategic decision-making that now underlies economics, military strategy, and even how AI systems are trained. He worked on the Manhattan Project, helping calculate the physics behind the atomic bomb. Physicist Hans Bethe once joked that von Neumann's brain suggested a new, superior species, one only partially human. Colleagues who worked alongside Einstein said von Neumann was the smartest person they'd ever met. Von Neumann's essay was called "Can We Survive Technology?" And his central argument was something we now take for granted, but was radical at the time. Technology wasn't just advancing. It was speeding up the rate at which it advanced. He described how each wave of technology, cheaper energy, faster communication, tighter control over human systems, made the next wave arrive faster. And he pointed out something specific. This acceleration had a hard limit, not a technological limit, a physical one, the size of planet Earth. Once technology could affect the whole globe at once, he argued, there was nowhere left to scale into, except deeper, faster, and more disruptively into the systems we already had. Sound familiar? That's essentially the argument people make today about AI, about globalization, about why change feels faster now than it did for our parents. Von Neumann predicted that humans would develop the ability to intentionally control the climate, what we'd now call geoengineering. And he didn't frame this as a cool sci-fi upgrade. He framed it as one of the most dangerous technologies humanity would ever develop. His reasoning: once any single nation could alter the climate, every nation's fate would become entangled with every other nation's decisions. You couldn't opt out. Weather doesn't respect borders. He predicted this would force entirely new systems of global politics into existence, because the old ones weren't built for planet-scale consequences. 70 years later, we're living inside that exact tension. We haven't perfected climate control, but climate change itself has created precisely the borderless, no opting out crisis he described. Different mechanism. Same structural trap. Separately from his Fortune essay, von Neumann spent years developing a theoretical concept called the universal constructor, a machine that could replicate itself using raw materials, following a set of stored instructions. Here's the part that should give you chills. His mathematical description of self-replication, an entity separating its blueprint from its machinery, closely mirrored how DNA actually works. And he worked this out before Watson and Crick described the structure of DNA in 1953. Today, his self-replication framework gets cited in conversations about nanotechnology, synthetic biology, and, increasingly, the risks and possibilities of self-improving AI systems. He wasn't just predicting a technology. He was predicting a category of technology we're only now starting to build. Von Neumann co-created game theory, the mathematical study of strategic decision-making between rational actors. It sounds abstract. It is not. Game theory became the backbone of Cold War nuclear strategy. The entire logic of mutually assured destruction is a game theory equilibrium. It became foundational to modern economics, earning multiple Nobel Prizes for people applying his ideas. And today, it's baked into how AI systems are trained to make decisions in competitive or cooperative environments. He didn't just predict a technology. He built one of the invisible mathematical structures that other predictions, nuclear deterrence, economic modeling, AI training, would end up running on top of. Von Neumann wrote, "Can we survive technology?" while he was dying of cancer, likely a result of his radiation exposure from Manhattan Project work. He wrote it from a wheelchair. He knew he wouldn't be alive to see almost any of what he was describing come true. That reframes the whole essay. This wasn't idle futurism from a comfortable armchair. It was a warning, written under a deadline that mattered more than any other deadline in his life. He was trying to hand humanity a map on his way out the door. He died in February 1957, less than 2 years after publishing it. Von Neumann never used the word singularity. He never said artificial general intelligence. But strip away the vocabulary of his era, and what he described, accelerating technology outrunning our institutions, borderless risks, machines that build and improve themselves, is close to the exact conversation happening in AI labs right now, 70 years later. He didn't have a crystal ball. He just understood, better than almost anyone alive, how technology actually moves, and where that movement was always going to lead.